Hey guys, Spiral27 here. Over a year ago, I posted a YouTube video of a Dragon Ball Z fanfic slash about Goku and Vegeta. It was written by the infamous creator Comics Nix, who's best known for fanfics that will make you go, "What is this? I don't even." I figured since this was over a year and I got nothing else better to do, why not read another fanfic? This time about Final Fantasy VII. This fanfic is called Cloud Mows the Lawn by the user named Rasso. How bad is this fanfic? Well, we're about to find out. So let's read Cloud Mows the Lawn. Tifa knelt by the window with her arms were rested on the windowsill. She sighed in contentment, gazing outside. Cloud was out front mowing the lawn. His shirt was off, which was a big turn-on for Tifa, his wife of 2 weeks. Tifa laughed as she realized she could stare at him all day. She was rather sad he would finish eventually. He worked out every day and his chest really showed that. He was the sexiest man Tifa ever saw. That didn't make Tifa fall in love with him though. They grew up together, and they had secret crushes on each other throughout adolescence. Cloud proposed to her the day after their long adventure, and she immediately accepted. She would never forget that moment when she felt like she and Cloud were alone in space. They married a week after he proposed, and were rarely seen outside after that. Anyways, back to the story. Tifa was in the master room on the second floor of their new house, watching the man of her dreams cut the grass. The 20-year-old woman was watching him mow the lawn for the 7th time. It was a hobby of hers, and the fact that they had a huge yard, and that it would take Cloud an extra long time to cut it. Watching how strong he was, she would not move for anything. Suddenly, Tifa felt a slight rumble in her stomach, but she ignored it. She was having too much of a good time watching Cloud. The best part, wow. Don't you mean the best part of the... Anyway, the best part, the mowing routine, was the end, where he would come upstairs to shower. Right before he entered the bathroom, she would ask Cloud if they could take a shower together. They would always end up kissing throughout the shower, and they would leave in a better mood than ever. She was so sure he would let her shower with her that she was not wearing underwear under her black miniskirt. Good to know. She felt her stomach rumble again and sighed. She really didn't want to leave. She wanted She wanted Tay-Tay? Oh, don't you mean she wanted to stay? Seriously, Tay-Tay? Back to the fanfic. She wanted Tay-Tay there for the longest time, watching he husband, don't you mean her? I forgot the R in her. Husband do the yard. Of course, she knew he would do it again and again and again, and she cherished every minute of watching him. She could not bear to stop. Tifa's stomach rumbled again, louder than the first 2 times. She realized she had to think of what to do, and quickly. She could run and return immediately, but then she would miss some of the lawn mowing. Her second option was to stay and clean up after herself, but the fear of getting caught made her feel uneasy. Wait, what? I don't like where this is going. This feeling caused her stomach to rumble more. Tifa looked down. The floor was a brand new and very expensive tile floor. It was not a very pleasant idea for her to mess it up. Wait, what? Whatever, muttered Tifa. When a girl has to shit, a girl has to shit. Wait, what? Oh, wait, okay, so let me get this straight. Tifa doesn't want to waste her time watching her husband, Cloud, mow the lawn, so she figures she would take a dump on the floor in her bedroom. What? Okay, moving on. Tifa's black skirt was actually a wraparound and it was easy to remove. Soon she was bottomless. Tifa took a deep breath and closed her eyes. She pushed and grunted over again until she felt her anus stretch. "This is it," she said aloud while still pushing and grunting. A crackling sound filled her ears as the turd finally slid out of her body. It was a hard one, dark brown and compressed together, and boy did it stink. No shit, it stank. It's shit. Tifa didn't mind the smell of her own droppings, but she knew it would be difficult to get away with this. With Tifa's shit sitting on the floor, she felt slightly relieved. Tifa let out a long, gassy fart. She giggled, for she tended to have gassy poops. What? Her relief soon ended, however, as she felt another log traveling from her colon to her rectum. She pushed again, and the turd began to slid out. Unfortunately for poor Tifa, it got stuck halfway. "I'll bet that feels good," said Cloud from behind her. Okay, now Cloud just saw Tifa taking a shit on her floor. What is Cloud gonna do? Tifa immediately jumped up in shock. She was so focused on expelling what was in her gorgeous bowels? What? Who calls their bowels gorgeous? That Cloud finished the lawn and came up to the bedroom. So there she was, standing there in a white t-shirt, white socks, red sneakers, and no pants or underwear, and with 5 inches of shit sticking out of her ass, in front of the love of her life. It didn't take long for Cloud to finish mowing the lawn. She could have just held it in and waited for him to finish and then go take a dump. Why'd you gotta take a dump on the floor? Tifa began to cry, and Cloud approached her and hugged her. She didn't care her shirt became drenched with his sweat. She wanted her man. She even felt a bulge in his pants and realized that her taking a dump turned him on. What? That is nasty! Who the hell gets turned on by watching people taking a shit? Oh, God. To Tifa's surprise, Cloud turned her around and lowered her onto her hands and knees. Tifa was puzzled at first, wondering what he would do, but the puzzle was soon solved as Cloud guided his Dick Wardward? Dick Wardward? Did you mean Dick towards? Whatever. Dick Wardward her anus and the shit that hung from it. Oh, God. That means the shit, when she hugged Cloud, her shit was hanging out. Oh, God. Cloud moaned as Tifa's warm poo mashed against his cock. They had anal sex many times before. Okay, forgot a space between times and before, but never with a huge turd stuck in Tifa's ass. Suddenly, Cloud's cock set the poo that had been stuck in Tifa's ass free. Tifa's rectum expelled turd. Tifa farted again, and Cloud felt a pleasant breeze on his member. What the fuck? Thanks, Tifa exclaimed Tifa. Hey, no problem, said Cloud. I'm going to take a shower. Want to get in there with me? And that's just the first chapter. There's more of this. Oh God! Wow, this is scat. This is scat. Freaking scat. Ah, jeez. I didn't know it was gonna be that scat, but anyway, we have to read chapter 2. Cloud and Tifa at the mall. Tifa struggled to breathe. She and Cloud were at their favorite mall, making out in their favorite corner. They were running their hands over each other, and they knew other people could see, but they didn't care. Tifa had worn her tight pair of jean shorts today to show off her butt for Cloud. He always told her how her butt was pretty nice, so she wanted him to see it as much as possible. Cloud put his hands on Tifa's butt and pushed her into him. Tifa giggled as she felt a bulge in Cloud's pants. Suddenly, Tifa desperately freed herself from Cloud's arms. She really had to poop. Oh my god. She told Cloud she needed to run for a second and disappeared into the ladies' room. It had only 2 stalls and she was the only one in there. So Tifa picked up the one nearest to the window and locked the door. She unbuttoned her short jean shorts and wriggled out of them. She hung them on the hook and slipped off her Okay, you took off your shorts? You could have just pulled down your shorts. You don't need to take them off when you're using the bathroom. It slipped off her panties, also putting them on the hook. With that, she sat on the toilet, her butt dropping way down into the bowl, with her cheeks being pulled apart in the process. Great. It was very quiet in the bathroom, and Tifa was kind of spooked. She soon changed to that, however, with a windy little fart. Suddenly, Tifa felt her butthole open up, and a little chunk of shit fell out with a splash. The splash seemed to echo forever in the quiet restroom. She pushed a little, and 2 more chunks dropped on, one after another, with loud splashes. She was slightly disappointed, for she thought she was full of droppings. Considering how your bowels are, I'm not surprised that you're full of droppings. Tifa farted a few more times and felt her butt open again. The smile returned to her face, realizing that a bigger turd wanted out this time. Why are you happy that you're pooping out a giant turd? Tifa found it weird hearing the crackle around her anus. The log slid out. The log slid out very slowly, and Tifa could hear what? I don't know what that is. Okay, and Tifa could hear and feel it. Tifa enjoyed the feeling of defecating. Knowing Cloud couldn't give her anal sex all the time, it was a good substitute. Oh. Okay, according to this fanfic, if you take a dump, it's like the equivalent of having anal sex. Tifa's poo dropped without a splash. She looked down at it, and it was about 7 inches long and 2 inches wide, which is normal for her. To her horror, it was stuck halfway. Tifa continued to push and groan as if she was in labor, but it was no use. The shit did not move. A tear slid down Tifa's face, realizing she wasn't going anywhere for a while. Just then, to Tifa's surprise, she heard the bathroom door open. I'll bet a girl named Tifa is taking a dump in here. Tifa's face burned bright red when she recognized the voice. It was Cloud. What? In here, Cloud, called Tifa as she unlocked the stall door. She didn't care what she was doing. She wanted to be with Cloud again. Phew, Tifa, what'd you eat? Demanded Cloud as he opened the door. We just had a pepperoni pizza, replied Tifa. So what's taking so long? I'm a bit constipated. A bit? Tifa giggled. Let me see, ordered Cloud. What? Tifa got up off the toilet, turned around, and bent over. Cloud gazed at the shit hanging from his white, gorgeous ass. I guess Cloud has a fetish for scat. And then again, I should have known from the first freaking chapter. Cloud tried prying her anus with his fingers. Ugh. And to no avail. Ow, ow, ow! Cloud, stop it! Snapped Tifa. Sorry, said Cloud. I think I have a more painless idea. Sit on the toilet again. Tifa sat back down on the toilet to her surprise. Cloud pulled his pants down and positioned his dick at the entrance of Tifa's pussy. What? Before she could say anything, Cloud began to thrust slowly at first and gradually pick up speed. Tifa moaned loudly in response to Cloud's love. Soon it happened. Tifa clutched the toilet seat as she orgasmed. Orgasm, comma, ED. Really? Alright. And to her surprise, the turd that was stuck her ass dropped right into the bowl. Oh, Cloud, thank you, said Tifa as she threw her arms around him, buried her face in his chest, and began to rock him. While she was doing this, she continued to fart loudly and ghastly and dropped chunks into the toilet, but Cloud ignored them. It was a job well done. Yuck. But all good things must come to an end. The bathroom door opened and the cops came in. The cops? Don't you mean the security guards at the mall? Why would the cops show up? They marched right over to the lover's stall and grabbed Cloud and dragged him off of Tifa. Why? As the police dragged Cloud out, Tifa let out one last fart to set him off. That was chapter 2. Oh, man. First of all, why would the cops show up and drag Cloud off of Tifa? I mean, don't you need, like, the security guards at the mall? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more serious matters than what, you know, I don't know. I'm not gonna question it, but seriously, what the hell? We got another chapter here. Cloud mows the lawn again. Chapter 3. The shower water sprinkled out of the nozzle as the naked girl spread it out all over her gorgeous body. Cloud was mowing the lawn again, but this time Tifa decided to stay in the shower. She still had a good view of him through the window, and it was possible that the neighbors could see her, but she didn't care. Tifa had not been feeling too good at the past few days. She wasn't sick, she had been eating a lot lately, then taking Ipecac? What? So she wouldn't get fat. Soon her loneliness ended. She let out a sigh of relief as she heard Cloud knock on the bathroom door. How are you feeling, Tifa? Asked Cloud politely as she tried to catch his breath. I feel terrible, giggled Tifa. Come in. With that, the door opened. Cloud was a gentleman, for he would often check on her, yet never come in when Tifa was showering until she gave him permission. He even stood at the bathroom door if she didn't. Cloud walked in, put the toilet lid on, and had a seat. How's the lawn? Asked Tifa sweetly. Boy, it's getting tougher each time, replied Cloud. Don't tell me you're getting old, joked Tifa. Cloud laughed back. Well, it is 90 degrees out, and I'm drenched. Plus, I had to take the trash out. A big smile appeared on Tifa's face. That was the cue he wanted to get into the shower with her. He was too shy to ask explicitly, and Tifa liked that. Well, began Tifa, trying to hide her excitement, can you do me a couple favors? What? I forgot my clothes. Would you mind getting them for me? Sure, exclaimed Cloud. And the other? When you bring my clothes in, get your naked butt in here and kiss me. Slowly, the realization came to her. She needed to poop, and real bad at that. Okay, what in the hell is wrong with Tifa's bowels? Seriously, it's like every time she needs to take a dump real bad. I think if things keep going like this, she might end up have to wear like diapers, or it's like she has a bad case of diarrhea every single day in this fanfic. Gathering her courage, Tifa crossed her legs real tight, holding it. Then she took one step out of the shower. So far, so good, whispered Tifa to herself. She took another step towards the toilet, but suddenly she started to leak liquid shit. Oh. She felt it oozing down her leg and realized the trouble she was in. She stood there with her legs crossed, real tight, holding her poop in and trying to think what to do. Great. Her thoughts were soon interrupted. Cloud returned to the bathroom without warning. Worse, he had pressed up against Tifa's back and put one hand on her shoulder. He had startled her, and she started to poop on him. Oh, that's gross. However, Tifa jumped out of the shower and sat on the toilet. Unfortunately, she had forgotten to put the lid up, so she made a mess on the lid. Tifa wanted to relax, but she couldn't because she knew what she had done. Eventually, she got the lid up, then finally relaxed and just let it all out in the toilet. Tifa was farting bad and the stink was even worse. She was crying her eyes out at the mess she made. It wasn't that she had never messed herself before, but never a bathroom. I'm sorry, Tifa, cooed Cloud as he wrapped his arms around the shitting girl. Just let everything out, babe. I'll clean up. With that, Cloud picked up a roll of paper towels? What do you mean, like toilet paper? And kneaded some into a wad. Tifa felt guilty as he wiped the waste off the floor. She understood very well why she loved that man. She even cried a little as he wiped her shit off of him. She just wanted to crawl into a hole and die. Soon she was done, and she got off the toilet and flushed. Although that didn't really do anything to kill the smell. Tifa put the lid down, revealing the shit on the lid. Cloud made another wad of paper towels and then cleaned Tifa's droppings off of the lid. Shit, grumbled Cloud. What happened? Asked Tifa. I ran out of paper towels. Uh-oh. Bend over, ordered Cloud. Tifa did as you had told. Oh, really? She felt funny to stick her ass up at Cloud when he told her to bend over. Suddenly, she felt a strange feeling behind her. It was almost as if a snake was on her, and she soon realized what was happening. He was eating the waste off of Tifa's back. Okay. Alright, this is turning into Two Girls, One Cup right here. Cloud is eating the poop. Cloud is eating Tifa's poop off her body. I'm starting to feel a little sick. And I'm only on the 3rd chapter. God damn it. Okay, I'll get through this. Okay, where was I? Oh. Tifa gasped and put her hands over her mouth. She knew Cloud would do a lot for her, but she couldn't believe he would eat her droppings. I can't believe it either. Cloud stood in shock as Cloud continued to lap up her feces. Oh. She could feel her swallow it too and giggle at how much he cared for her. Just relax yourself, said Cloud softly as he swallowed a glob of Tifa's poop. Oh! Tifa felt awful that he was going through all this trouble just for her, but she did just that. She didn't even care as she just let even more poop come out and pee leak out of her. So even after that, she still needs to poop. And not only that, she's urinating now. Cloud quickly lapped it all up. Oh, even the pee. And swallowed. That's good, Tifa. Just let everything out, said Cloud again. Tifa farted and giggled, and soon all the waste was off of her. They then filled the tub and took a long romantic bath together. Then they made love. Tifa realized how lucky she was to have a man like Cloud. It was a good day with a good dump, one that she would look forward to again. Excuse me. some weird two girls, one cup shit. Also with a bit of pee. My God, and we're not even done yet. There's just one more chapter to read. Good God, at least Comics Nick's fanfics were hilarious. This is just disgusting. Alright, final chapter. In the park. Oh, and by the way, none of this has anything to do with the video games or the movie. Just putting it out there. Cloud, Tifa, Aries, Sid, Barrett, Kate, Sith, Vincent, Red the 13th, and Yuffie were out in the park sitting at the picnic table. They had just finished lunch and were presently talking about memories past. Tifa suddenly stood up and headed to the bathroom. Wow, really? Why am I not surprised? Cloud grinned, knowing what was about to happen. He winked at Tifa and pretended he didn't know. Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with Cloud? Why? It's not sexy when a girl takes a dump. I don't know why some people have this sort of fetish. Why? I don't know. She was his, but still hot. Everyone would be turned off if they had known all of her shenanigans. I think that's what it says. Or it could be poop. I don't know. The one I'm reading is censored, so I had to make up some of the words. I couldn't find the actual fanfic. Thank the planets we're worse. Thank the planet that we're not were. Thank the planet that we're so close to the bathroom, she laughed when she got there. Then out of the blue, she saw the dreaded sign on the ladies' room door. Out of order. Shit, groaned Tifa. Why are all my bowel movements turning into nightmares? I blame the writer of this. With a sigh, she went around behind the barn. It was rather secluded with trees and leaves keeping her well hidden. A good place for a girl to discharge excrement. Why don't you just go to the men's washroom? If Cloud can go into the women's washroom, why can't Tifa go into the men's washroom? Instead, you gotta take a dump in the woods. Anyway, where's I? Okay. I'll do this quickly, whispered Tifa as she began to undo her wraparound black skirt. She carefully removed her panties as not to stain them. Tifa stretched her anus wide and felt something slide out from behind. Now there was 4 inches sticking out, 4 fat inches of girl poo. Tifa continued to push, but the turd would no longer budge. Come out, you little... What the heck? Oh, jeez. 5. I don't know what that is. It was bleeped out. This is the only thing I could find out of this fanfic. So, it could be a little pussy or something. I don't know. Don't tease me, Tifa squealed. Tifa? Cried a familiar soprano. Tifa turned around in shock. Aries, she cried in a similar tone. What are you doing here? Oh, great. Now they're going to drag Aries into this. Isn't it obvious? She giggled. With that, Aries slipped off her red jacket and began to unbutton her pink dress. She hung it off in a branch as Tifa noticed Aries wasn't wearing bra nor panties, just her shoes. This is so damn scary, laughed Tifa as she continued to push. Right? Giggled Aries as she squatted. The 2 girls began to shit in unison. Suddenly, a tear rolled down Aries' face. What's wrong? Tifa asked her friend. Oh, this just reminds me of an experience with my first boyfriend, Zach. With that, Aries closed her beautiful green eyes and began. Zach and I were driving through the northern Midgar on the highways. Well, W-E-L, comma, L, really? It's well and then a comma. I always vowed never to shit or even fart in front of a guy. It just wasn't a ladylike thing to do. Until then, and it was in the most embarrassing unladylike fashion. We originally came from Combe and were on our way to Junon. I remember eating a huge breakfast before we left. But I couldn't shit then, so I decided to hold it until we reached Junon. Am I saying that right? Junon? I don't know. In situations like these, I never succumbed to defeat, so I was pretty confident my butthole would become victorious in the battle against the turds knocking on the door. And I could take care of my business properly like a lady should. Anyways, during the entire trip, I'd feel my stomach turn and the pain increase as time went on. I just told myself, you can make it, Aries girl, and thought about other things. It wasn't until we were about 1 hour away from the outskirts of Junon that I thought this could be the one battle I'm defeated in. There must have been tons of waste backed up in my bowels, and it was attacking my asshole with no mercy. I clenched my butt cheeks together with full force. I like the fact that Aries is telling this to Tifa in full detail. Every detail. I clenched my butt cheeks together with full force and told myself to hold out for an hour until we got to the hotel. Due to my nervousness and the thought of impending doom caused me to sweat all over profusely, and the sweat built up in my ass crack only seemed to act as a lubricant. Excuse me. Defeat seemed inevitable, and the pain in my intestines was unbearable, and Zach started to notice. He looked over concerned and asked me what was wrong. I was biting my lip, and the look of pain across my face was obvious, and I couldn't answer. He asked again, and slowly I asked if we could pull over to a nearby restroom. The sign showed the nearest place a restroom would be. Okay, you only need one would be. About 15 minutes. I couldn't wait that long and was terrified by what might happen. I continued to strain, but that did no good. Then the turd poked its head out of my rectum. I was wearing a navy blue colored short skirt with no underwear, so the turd obviously hit the surface of the sea. Ew. I screamed for him to pull over, and confused he did. I had no other choice. I figured shitting on myself in the car would be more humiliating and would ruin my tights. So I quickly jumped out of the car, and thank God I was wearing a skirt so I could pull it up rather quickly. And I squatted right in front of my boyfriend, clenched my butt cheeks with my hands as my asshole had the diameter of a tennis ball, and I unleashed my stinky brown load. It was watery and lumpy at the same time. Oh, God. I could hear the shit hitting the ground as I was squatting here off the side of the highway. I was completely disgusting. God knows what the people were thinking who were driving by when... Oh, God, she's taking a dump right in the middle of the road for people to see. Oh, man. Okay, that is kind of a little bit funny, but still disgusting and a bit embarrassing for Aries, but I gotta move on. Driving by when they saw some woman shitting her guts out on the side of the highway, and it horrified me to know what my boyfriend was thinking. Shit must have poured out of my ass for a good 2 minutes. Ow, really? Stick it down for 2 minutes? My ego and pride were shattered, and with my head down, I asked my boyfriend for something to wipe my ass with. He got out of the car with a look of disbelief on his face and opened the trunk and grabbed some rags for me. Completely defeated, humiliated, and embarrassed, I wiped my asshole thoroughly and wiped the tiny shit stain on the inside of my tights and pulled them back up. I looked at my load on the ground and was startled at how huge a dump I took. We both got in the car, and I was too embarrassed to say anything or give an explanation. He looked just as shocked and disgusted as I was, and I don't blame him. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life. What happened after that? Asked Tifa with a tear rolling down her cheek. She realized she was really touched by the story. How are you touched by this? You took a dump on the road. How is that touching? at all. Maybe she felt sorry for Aries because, you know, she's embarrassed by, she embarrassed herself in front of God knows how many people drove on the road and probably, and also his boyfriend, but I don't understand how this is touching. I pooped on my skirt so it was ruined. When I lamented this, he was like, don't worry, it's just a skirt. And he ripped it off with a big smile, leaving me in a shirt but no pants. Like you are now. Well, what? Don't you mean eventually? What is this? EUALLUALLLY. Wow. Eventually, not ualuawi. Got to Junon, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and we went to the restaurant as usual. The waiter was so polite, even though I'm sure he knew I was bottomless. Zach and I sat down in a booth and had a wonderful talk. By this time, the final inches of feces had slid out of Aries' anus. She plucked a leaf from a nearby tree and wiped her butt. Oh boy. You know, it'd be funny if she wiped her ass with poison ivy and she got a serious rash on her ass. Tifa, who still had 5 inches of poo hanging from her anus, sighed in disappointment. She would soon be alone again, but her spirits were lifted when Aries did something very unexpected. Before dressing, she hugged her friend and pecked her on the cheek. Tifa was a closet bisexual. Closet bisexual? And Cloud knew, but she had never been kissed by a girl before. She realized this is the beginning of something more. And that is the end of the fanfic. Holy crap! I mean, no, holy... Jeez. Okay, what the hell did I just read? I mean, granted, the last battle of Goku and Vegeta was funny at a point, even though it was sort of disgusting. This is just plain disgusting. I mean, lots of scats, shit fetish, descriptive detail of women taking dumps, and a little bit of poop tasting. What the fuck did I just read? So that is the Final Fantasy VII fanfic, Cloud Mows the Lawn, and oh my god, do not read this fanfic unless it was a dare or you made a bet or if you're into scat like this. Oh man. Well, that's another Let's Read fanfiction. I'm Winter Spiral 1127, and hopefully I scarred some people for life. Just because I read this. Because if I'm going down, I'm taking you all with me. Later.